How's it going, and welcome back to the channel. Today it is Saturday, which means it is Parkrun Day, and we are off to Sharpham Road Playing Fields Parkrun. So this Parkrun is located to the southwest side of England in Cheddar, which is probably about a 40-minute drive from Bristol to the southwest. And the run is in and around the Sharpham Road Playing Fields, which are located directly next to Cheddar Reservoir. The Parkrun has multiple different terrains, including grass, tarmac, and trail paths, which means that in my opinion I'd recommend to use trail shoes. However, in the summer months when it's really dry, I wouldn't worry whether you've got road or trail shoes either. And another good thing to note is that it is buggy / pram friendly, dog friendly as well, and there are toilets located right close to the start line, so you don't need to worry about any of those. If you are someone that loves to run on an old railway track as well, this one is located on one of those, so it does mean that it is a very flat part run as well, and we'll have a look at the gradient just a little bit later. The railway line was actually called the strawberry line because of the huge volume of strawberries that they grow in the area. Unfortunately it closed in 1963, but fortunately for us part runners we can now use this as a very flat course. With its flat nature and the fact that it's not too busy as well, I would actually say that this one is potentially a PB running course, especially compared to a lot of the other ones which are slightly hilly. This one is a pretty flat one. The grass areas and the turns though do slow you down. But before we do have a look at the course, if you don't know what a parkrun is, it is essentially a 5k run which is ran by a group of volunteers who both time and marshal the event. At the end of the run you get given a finish token, you scan that along with your individual barcode, and then you'll get sent your official time and parkrun position later on in the day. Now let's take a quick look at a summary of the course then. So it is a 2-lapper. You start in the rugby field, you head onto the strawberry line, you run all the way to one end, do a U-turn, all the way back to the other end, do a U-turn, then you head back onto the field for a little bit more before completing that again, and then heading into the grass fields for the finish line, and with an elevation gain of about 18 metres and a max elevation of 24 metres. So that is a summary of the course. Let's have a look at it in a bit more detail and delve into where these U-turns and turns are. So you're going to start off here at the community pavilion, make your way around the rugby pitch before turning right as you hit Cheddar Reservoir. You then run alongside Cheddar Reservoir all the way up to Holwell Lane. You then turn right again. There's a little bit of a bottleneck section here, so do be careful with others. You then turn left as you hit the centre of Holwell Lane. This is quite a tight path as well, so you can probably fit about 3 people down here in a row. You make your way all the way up the Strawberry Line old railway track till you get to this point. You do a U-turn here, then you make your way all the way back down, so this is pretty much flat the whole way there and back. You then do another U-turn here before you hit the main road. You head your way back up towards the pavilion, turn left to enter back into that grass field. You then go around the perimeter of this field, head back to that bottleneck, and then you do exactly the same again, before this time you turn left once you get back to this section into the field, and then you turn left at this row of trees before you hit the finish line at the end. But as you can see, all flat, and it has the potential for a part run to be your PB. Now let's take a look at the records which have been set at Sharpham Road Playing Fields Park Run. So the fastest male was Mike Cowell with a time of 16 minutes and 19 seconds, and the fastest female was Sophie Nichols with a time of 17:35. Both very impressive and fast times, with the average number of runners being around 108 runners with an average time of 29:34, which is a bit slower than last week's at Markeaton. And now let's take a look at some of my stats then. So we have completed 44 part runs and 29 different locations. So this is going to be location number 30 on that Cowell Club, so we're 30% of the way there. Our best finish position is 4th, which was set at Zielony Jar in Poland, and our fastest times start at Somerdale Pavilion with a time of 22:32 and go all the way down to 23:23. So we need to try and beat that time if we want to get Sharpham Road's Playing Fields Park Run onto that leaderboard. Now, what you've all been waiting for, we are down here at the run. To the bottom left hand side you can see the map, and to the bottom right that will have a couple of stats on in just a moment. You can see a stunning day here in Sharpham Playing Fields, and we are about to set off in just a moment. So you can see everyone getting to that start line, and you can also see that it is quite nice and empty as well. It's not too busy, so you can stand near the front with ease. And as we know from before, you can also have dogs and buggies. Can't see any on the screen right now though, but I'm sure they'll turn up in just a second. And we are off. So here we go, doggo there right at the front. I didn't actually spot them until just then, but you can see we had a decent start, come out fairly quickly out of the gates. You can see a lot of other people though have sped off into the distance as well. We are going to now make our way off to that right hand side. So we're currently running around the rugby field, and on our left hand side is where Cheddar Reservoir is when we went through the course. And now we are heading towards the bottleneck, where hopefully it won't be too busy so we don't get too congested there. With it being such a sunny day as well, the ground was nice and hard, so it doesn't mean any squelching in the mud, which is perfect, especially if you were using road shoes on the day. But we're now heading off to the right hand side down that lane, and it is a bottleneck section here, so you will probably have to slow down, unfortunately. And as you can see in the bottom right hand side, my pace did drop dramatically, but it is starting to pick up again as people funnel through that bottleneck. And just be wary of the stingers on the left and right hand side down this path as well, if you don't like getting hit by a nettle. Otherwise you're going to be looking for a dot leaf or race. But the tight path is going to be followed off now to when we turn off to the left hand side, and we'll be back on the Strawberry Line railway line, so hopefully it'll be a little bit more open. And here it is, the left hand turn onto the Strawberry Line. Someone there in front wearing the same top as me with the 25 Parkruns, and we're now heading off towards that U-turn, so hopefully we can pick up the pace as whilst we get there, so we get a decent time to start us off as we try and make our way onto that leaderboard. And as you can see, it is quite a tight path, so you do need to make sure that you do keep to that left hand side depending on which way you're going. At the moment we're going on the way up, so you need to keep on the left, and then the people on the way down keep on their left hand side as well, so that you don't end up running into each other. And also be wary of any public, as well as these paths are very, very tight, although they are nice and gravelly, so it is hard standing, so it's perfect. Speeds up your time as well, and it is also very flat. So we're doing quite well, about 3.5 minutes in now, keeping to the left hand side as we head off to that U-turn on the far end. And there he is, first position, goes flying past. That is really impressive, to be fair. We've still got quite a distance away until we hit that U-turn. We're almost at the 1 kilometre mark though, so we'll have to have a quick pace check once we hit that 1k. And we are 1 kilometre in with a pace there of 4:24, so we just need to try and keep that up. It was a very quick first kilometre, so hopefully if we keep at this sort of pace, and we may actually be able to get onto the leaderboard this week. But we're going to have to slip past the guy in high vis here in just a moment. But this is the U-turn, so what they've done is made it a little bit wide. You go around these 2 benches so don't catch your shins on those, and then you head your way back onto this gravel path. But I quite like that section, because some of them it's literally like a straight U-turn, like 5 arches, where you get to the end, turn straight around the cone, and you're on your way back. Whereas this one, they've given you a little bit of a wider loop, which is very kind of them. But on the other side, you'll see in just a moment, it is more of a tight U-turn than that one. 6 minutes in, and as you can see, we are doing quite well at the moment, able to keep it to a fast pace right now, so we're doing well. As you can see as well, it is also very flat on the ground, so if you do want any more information on the elevation of this course or the course altogether, you can go check out my Strava, which I've left in the description below, so you can click on that link, give me a follow as well, and you can see all the different parkruns which I do and all the information on them all. And there we go, so we are passing that track which we entered from before, so we're about halfway through this Parkrun course from 1.7 kilometres of this first lap, so a bit further than halfway before we head our way now towards the other side. So you can see on the right hand side, that is the grass field where the rugby pitch is, where we started as well, and we'll be heading there in just a moment too. But if you are enjoying this video and you do want to see some more Parkrun videos like this, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you are new as well, and then hit that notification bell if you want to get notified of any new videos which are coming out. But we're doing well. There's the cone section if you're going back onto the field, but come on, we can try and get a PB time this week. There's a bit more in the shade in this section as well, so it keeps you nice and cool, but do be wary of any potholes or any like sort of lumps in the ground, because that may trip you over, and this section has got a few of those, but not too many, so you should be okay. But that is now 2.1 kilometres in. That kilometre was a lot quicker with a time of 4 minutes and 17 seconds, so that is one of my fastest kilometres for a while for sure, so hopefully we can just keep up this pace, and we don't want to start lagging, otherwise we could be in a little bit of trouble. But we are now heading off towards that U-turn, some kind pedestrians there on that side waiting for us as well, but this one's a much tighter U-turn, so it slows you down a lot as you go around that cone. See, we dropped almost to 14 minutes per kilometre then, but it's all good. We've managed to pick it back up to 4:30, and now we just need to keep at this pace if we want to try and get on that leaderboard. And there we go, 2.5 kilometres down and just under 11 minutes. That's pretty good, but it does usually go just over 5 kilometres on the Strava, as the Strava seems to dot around a little bit. But we are now on the grassy field section. We're going to need to just try and keep our pace at the moment. I can imagine in the winter months this bit being a lot more difficult. Maybe if it gets really wet, it could get quite puddly and muddy and squelchy, whereas when we're doing it in the glorious sunshine, it is nice and dry right now, and we're in the shade as well, which is nice. We're doing that perimeter now of the rugby pitch area, and then we're heading back to that bottleneck section and then back to the strawberry line straight flat. So back into that bottleneck section, managing to keep the pace up at the moment, but it has dropped a little bit since the first 2 kilometres, but that always seems to be the case. When I watch everyone's videos, their 3rd and 4th kilometres are always the slowest, so we'll have to see what pace we get when we hit that 3 kilometre mark and compare it to what we just got a few minutes ago. And that is 3 kilometres done, and as I expected, that was a lot slower, that one. It was a 4-minute 30-second kilometre compared to that 4-minute 17-second kilometre which we did previously, so we have slowed down a little bit, but not enough to knock us off that leaderboard sort of time yet. So if we can hold it onto this 4 minutes and 30-second pace, then we should be okay. And there we go, so we've made it around that U-turn, cute little doggo there on that left hand side as well, and we are now heading our way all the way back down to the other end. We're on 3.6 kilometres, so only 1.5 kilometres to go until we can sit down and rest again. To be honest, I think this is actually a slight downhill from that U-turn which we just did all the way to the other U-turn, which is very nice to run on, and maybe you start to feel it a little bit towards the end when you're heading your way back up to that rugby field, but that is probably where the elevation gain of 18 metres comes from the bottom end of the railway track all the way to the top end. But we're doing quite well at the moment. We're at a time of 17 minutes and 12 seconds. We're still running at a pace of around 4 minutes and 30. So if we do manage to keep this up, we will be making it onto the leaderboard this week. 4 kilometres in, and that was a 4:36, so that has been our slowest one so far. So hopefully we can make this last kilometre split just a little bit quicker, but even with that time, after that 4 minutes and 17 kilometre, it's definitely got a little bit of wiggle room to slow down ever so slightly, but not too much if we do want to get Sharpham Road Playing Fields near that top end of the leaderboard. So that is the funnel off to the grass section, which we are passing again. So the next time we will be turning off to that left and heading towards that finish line. You can see some people there on the right hand side had picked up their pace as they were coming towards the end, whilst we head all the way down now to that U-turn, keeping at our pace. We've had a couple of people overtake us as well, so they must have paced it well, or they might be local and have got used to this course. But we are still doing quite well with our pace, and as long as we keep this up, we should come out with a pretty quick time. And here we are coming up to that final U-turn with about 400 to 500 metres left to run. Obviously that slows us down again a little bit, but we have managed to pick up to that pace very quickly after. I do find though that once you're knackered at about the 3-4 kilometre point, if you do stop or slow down at all, it is really hard to pick up back to the pace where you set off. So I don't know, maybe I might have slowed down ever so slightly, but this is a gradual incline as well. So should be okay, but you'll have to see as we head our way towards the finish line now. As you can see, there is a slight little incline here before you now turn off to that left hand side, sticking in that funnel and turning into the grass section. And it is our final few meters now towards the finish line. We're doing really well at the time of 22:18, really impressive compared to a lot of us. And we were looking after a dog as well, which you may see on the right there. That is Kimbo, who is a Cavapoo Shon, and who came up running next to me towards the end with my girlfriend as well, trying to sprint towards the finish. Thank you very much again for cheering me on to that guy there on that right hand side as well. There's that tree line which we are looking out for. We just need to push, and then once we turn left, that will be the finish line. Will we get under 23 minutes potentially? This is a quick one, and here we go. Quick photo, smile for the camera, and the sprint finish now at 3:25 we are running at right now, speeding towards the end. It's looking good. This could be a 23-minute time. And it is a time of 23 minutes and a position of a 27th. So I'm really impressed with how well I did here at Sharpham Road Playing Fields. And we'll have to take a look at how well that does on our leaderboard. And that is Sharpham Road's Playing Field Park Run complete, taking another S off of that alphabet challenge. We've now technically done 4 S's, so it's a perfect one for that, and also a great one for the challenge, the Slither challenge, which you can find on the 5k Park Run app, where you have to get 10 S's, so we're now on 4. And also, while you're there, there's so much more things you can do. You can have a walk around the Cheddar Reservoir, which we did about 4 kilometers, 3 to 4 kilometers, so you can check that out on my Strava as well. And then we also went around the town of Cheddar as well, which is actually the home of, guess what, cheddar cheese. So that was very tasty going around there as well. And we stopped off at Cafe Gorge, which was stunning, beautiful food, and it was sat right next to a stream and the caves where they mature all the cheddar cheese. As you can see, it was very stunning as well, with all the hills in the background as you made your run, and it was a perfect day for it too. And also a huge thank you to all of the volunteers who were there on the day. Without them, the park run could not go ahead, and they were able to cheer us on, motivating me to go that little bit quicker for this course. As you saw, it was a pretty quick one as well, so I would probably recommend it as a potential PB course. I know it's not amazing with the grass terrains and the bottlenecks and things like that, but because of just how flat it is and the big long downhills followed by short uphills, I definitely recommend this one for maybe a PB potential. Although it is a great park run for a PB, there are still a couple of pinch points to go through. So pinch point number 1 is the bottleneck near the start. That definitely took a few seconds off my time, and just the fact that there's all quite tight paths as well, they take a few seconds off to try to overtake people and maybe have to slow down a little bit and things like that. And then number 2 is the U-turn. So there's 2 U-turns, one at the top end, which isn't too bad because they have made it a wide U-turn. However, the U-turn on that bottom end will take a couple of seconds off your time, which may slow you down for the rest of the run. Apart from that, there wasn't really anything too crazy. Obviously they had the grass section, but on the day it was quite hard, so that didn't slow us down really too badly, and loads of other park runs have grass as well, so I can't really fault this one just for that bit of grass. And now we're going to be moving on to the section for anyone that is thinking of going to this park run. Here's a few tips and tricks for you. So we'll start off with any form of public transport that you want to take. If you're going by train, there is the West Milton train station, which is still quite a distance from the park run. I don't think you can get a bus really from there either, so it would be a 23-minute drive from there to the start line. However, if you do want to go by bus from quite a few different locations, you can stop off at the Barrows bus stop, which from there is about a 17-minute walk. Again, a little bit of a trek. However, you can probably get a good warm-up in as you make your way towards that start line. And then finally, parking is quite limited at this park run, and I'll repeat that because we struggled to find a spot on the day, and we arrived about 10-15 minutes early. We were running later than usual, so if you are the sort of person that likes to rock up right before the start line, do be careful here. But if you do get there early, the Cheddar Valley Football/Rugby Club is the place to park. They've currently got a little bit of road work going on, so it is very, very limited spaces at the moment. However, there are a few other roads nearby and the housing estates which you can park up next to the pavement. So that's where Beth went and parked when she dropped me off for this run. And then finally, if you want to grab a post-park run coffee, everyone usually meets up at the community pavilion, which is literally directly next to the start line. and you can grab a cake or just, I think I've got chocolate, lots of cold drinks, and also coffees and things like that. But as I said, we headed into the centre of Cheddar to Cafe Gorge. They've got quite a lot of nice little cafes in Cheddar as well if you want to go somewhere different. So that is it for all of my tips and tricks, but if you have any at home, whether you be a local or someone that's been before, do make sure to let us know of any other tips and tricks in that comment section below, and I'll try and pin it up to the top so that everyone else knows them as well. And now let's take a look at my GoPro stats after that park run. So the number of park runs has increased to 45, and that is 30 locations complete. It's going so quickly, I swear. The best finish position was still 4th at Zoloni Jar. However, Sharpham Road Playing Fields falls into 2nd place for my fastest park runs there with a time of 23 minutes, which knocks off therefore Chipping Sodbury, Alexandra and Severn Bridge Park Run, where I got a time of 23:23. So that was really impressive and definitely worth a shot at your PB if you do want to go there. So that is it for Sharpham Road Playing Fields Park Run. Really enjoyable one, stunning scenery and lots to do after, and definitely visit Cheddar Gorge straight after the run. If you have enjoyed this video and you want to go and check out another one of them, we went to Markeaton last week, which was stunning, and it was one that Jenson Button, the Formula 1 driver, set up. Or we can go and check out the worldwide park run playlist, where it's got all 30 of my park runs and more in there. But next week we are heading up slightly further north to Gloucester, where we are completing the Kingsway Park Run on its 9th birthday, so that should be good fun. It's Hawaiian/hula theme as well, so it should be a pretty cool one to go and see. So I hope you all enjoyed this one, and I'll see you all in the next one.